as tranquil streams that meet and merge and flow as one to seek the sea. Our kindred hearts and minds unite to build a church that shall be free. So begins the hymn by Marion Franklin Ham that we're going to sing as the closing hymn today. And I know many of you are familiar with it. We think of it as singing about individuals coming together in congregational life, but it represents a lot more than that because it was written before the merger of the Unitarians and the Universalists. It was written back in the 30s, and this merge had been considered and talked about for 100 years because these were two very liberal religious traditions in the United States. They had so much in common, but they also had a lot of differences. And so the question was, how can we merge these two with the kind of the rational religion tradition of the Unitarians and that sense of universality and really universal salvation that came from the Universalist side of things. The Universalists were concerned in particular that their message would be lost. So you can kind of judge for yourself how that's gone over the many years. But there was so much that they held in common. And, you know, since the merger, which happened in 1961, and by the way, that hymn, As Tranquil Streams, was sung by the assembled leaders after that historic vote was taken, and they did agree to merge. I think there's been disagreements about how we do liberal religion, but there is this concern, this like constant call to be a liberal religion, a liberal faith tradition, one that recognizes equity and worthiness among all people, one that values justice and democracy and the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So the practice of Unitarian Universalism is really coming up with that balance between independence and interdependence, between freedom and belonging. That's one tension that sometimes occurs here, right? So it seems to me that we're kind of swinging a little bit over the last few decades from the more intellectual Unitarian approach to a more, I don't know, maybe spiritual direction and a bigger understanding of what it means to expand the circle of care and encompass all those who were oppressed and marginalized within and beyond our congregations. So we'll see how it all goes in the next 60 years or 80 years. How long has it been? Almost 80. Rivers don't always run smooth, and neither do the lives of those who seek greater equity and inclusion. Like grains of sand carried in the current, UUs at work in their congregations and the larger association bump into each other over issues small and large as we navigate the current towards the sea of liberation for all. Many of you know that your congregation will sometimes hurt, disappoint, and frustrate you. That is fact. Sometimes the democratic process will mean that things won't go the way you hoped. You will sometimes be tempted to catch the next breeze and hop a ride on a cloud to someplace else. But I hope you won't, because you are needed here, even on the days when you feel like you don't quite fit. Because you do fit, you do belong. If each of us brings our unique perspectives and sensitivities and temperaments to the co-creation of this religious movement, it is inevitable that our visions will sometimes clash. At those times, it is essential to put our relationships first, to respect each other's perspectives and sensitivities, and make room for each other's temperaments. If we can do that, and only if we can do that, we will be able to grow as individuals and as a religious community. That is how we put love at the center of everything we do. So like grains of sand, may we be shaped by our interactions, and may we focus our energy not on abrading each other, but on wearing away the obstacles to liberation, the ones that we're unified to work on. Like the free-flowing river, may we find in our shared waters the cleansing power of forgiveness. And may this elixir that we brew together bless the world with a faithful promise of healing love.